Hey everyone, I'm here now. Got in a little bit earlier than what I was thinking. They were quick. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? And let me know if you can hear. Let me know if you can hear. So Sir Flexi said that they were enjoying the views while waiting. I pulled that up yesterday for the first time. And I've been like addicted to it. Like I literally watched it for like 12 hours yesterday. Like I kept it, I have multiple monitors. So I kept that thing over in my far right monitor and I just peek over at it every once in a while, see what they were doing. And I saw people doing all kinds of different things, like walking around, taking photos, joking, throwing snowballs. I saw, different cars, and it's just kind of funny. I was like, I'm addicted to it. So anyways, let me know, guys, if you guys can hear me. Not seeing anything in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but let me know if everything's good on your end. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and outline today's training. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the first thing is we're gonna go over the $1 million count. And really not much has changed there. Okay, Coleman, thanks. Thank you. Not much is going on with that right now because just nothing has changed. But we're going to do that first. And then we're going to talk about I'm going to do a day trading session. And all of you guys that are on board will be able to watch me do it. And my goal is to make 10,000 in a day. So we're going to go over that. And then I'm going to do some analysis on stuff that you guys are thinking about. But we're going to do the 10,000 in a day. And the only thing I'm missing on my strategy, I've got a couple things that I'm thinking about. And the time that I'm going to do it, because I'm going to need a good bit of time to try to pull this off. I can't just do it in my normal 1 hour session. Maybe we can. Maybe we could pull it off in the first hour, and that would be awesome. But I'm going to try to give myself a little bit more time. So I'm going to have to reschedule to make sure that my schedule fits perfectly. But I want to let everybody know today when I'm going to do that. So we're going to talk about that, and that should be it for today's session. I think that'll cover enough. So thanks everyone for being here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump on over to the training. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I misspoke. Let's do this second. Let's get out of here. I want to do the $1 million challenge first. So right now, my current account balance is roughly 50,000, and I started at 52. However, my equity, I should put an equity in here. My equity, let's add that right now. Equity. So let me give you a definition of equity. Equity is the value of your account with open trades that are not closed yet. So the equity is actually 65,000. So like that kind of helps a little bit, because I'm like, oh man, I started the challenge 2 weeks ago and I'm down 2,000 already, but actually I'm up 15 since 2 weeks because of the equity, and that's because of this FUBO trade. This FUBO trade's up $15,000 right now. And so because of that, the equity is 65,000. So that's where we're standing on that. And as always, you guys can have the spreadsheet. And I told everyone that I was going to update it, but last night I just didn't have time. And that is a big boo-boo, So I can't make that mistake again for two reasons. Number one is, if you want to be successful, you got to make time to log and analyze. You got to build it into your process. So that was a big mistake, number one. And number two is, I told you guys that I was going to do it. And when I give my word, I got to follow on it and do it. You know, my word is one of the most important things that I have. Like I talked about control. I can't control a lot of things around me, but one of the things that I can control is if I speak something, I got to make it happen. And so I apologize to everyone for that. I will do better. I will do better for my sake and for your sake. All right. Now, are you guys ready for this $10,000 training? Let me know. Go ahead and hit the like button if you want, or if you're ready. Okay, so just let me know. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. There's not a lot of people on here, but that's okay, because guess what? You're one of the ones that's going to see what we're going to accomplish. You're going to see something that's pretty interesting, and that's awesome. So thank you guys. Here we go. I got to send the message out real quick. All right. Okay. So we're going to go to full screen here, and I'm going to just do this. Are you ready? Yeah. Dave is ready. Dave is the man. Awesome, Dave. Thank you. Okay. So here we go. Disclaimer, trading is risky. Don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Manage your risk. This is educational purposes only. I'm not telling you what to do. Don't be like me. Be like you. Do what's right. You know the drill. Responsibility for your own actions, really important, right? Responsibility for your own actions is critical. All right. So Ski Tin is back. All right. Loving it. We got some good people here. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to do $10,000 in one day, and not to trade it, because it's easy to trade 10,000. It's easy to end up with 10,000. It's the hard part's 10,000 in profit. And so I'm going to start with Forex. If this Forex thing works, we might do it again and again and again, or we might just go with a different method. I might do options because I've been learning a lot of cool option stuff as well. So we'll who knows, we might even go with stock too. But anyways, again, educational purposes only. All right, so we're going to start with Forex. And good morning, Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, trading strategy. So here's the strategy, and it's really simple. If you didn't watch yesterday's session, go back and watch it, or not right now, but later, and pin it, because that is the one where I outlined the strategy. Jonathan's into options, so we're going to do it, Jonathan. Just give me some time. Thanks for hanging in there. So I'm posting it in the link for yesterday. Just mark it. That's where this strategy, I go into real detail there. I'm not going to do that, but we're going to make some adjustments to it, because yesterday I taught mainly on the daily time frame. We're going to have to lock it down. So I'm going to take as many trades as it takes, and I'm going to be risking $1,000 on the first trade. Okay. And I'm going to be starting with 5,000. Okay. So that means that I'm going to have to, this is going to be a real challenge. This is not just something simple that I can guarantee that I'm going to do, because the market conditions have to be perfect. My personal reaction to the market has to be perfect, because I raised the bar a little high, right? I like to challenge myself. There's two things I like to do. I like to think big, and I like to challenge myself. So I raised the bar up for this, because I'm going to have to not just double my account. I'm going to have to double it, and then basically double it twice, 5 and 5 in one day, right? And so that is going to be, there's no guarantees on this. And so I'm raising the bar for me. That's why I say this is for educational purposes only. I don't want you to come in there and say, well, Casey's going to do this, and I'm going to go follow all of his trades, and this is it. This is my big breakthrough, and I'm going to get rich, right? Well, that kind of thinking is going to hurt you. This is educational purposes only. You have a lot of different life circumstances than I have. Everything is different about us. Everything. We might have some similarities, but most of all, everything's different. That's why I don't compare myself to other people, because here's what I do. Okay, and I'm getting totally off base, but this is like it's popping into my head, and I think it's good, because I have been discouraged in my life from comparing myself to other people for a lot of different ways, because I look at different traders and I look at their success, and I have studied with them, and I'm like, man, why is that guy doing this? Why is he doing that? Why can't I, what's he got that I don't have, right? And so it becomes this source of discouragement. It's the comparison trap, right? And so I don't do that anymore, because that would bring discouragement. I need all the positive, uplifting stuff I can get, because I'm just fighting too many obstacles on a day-to-day basis. I'm fighting too many battles, and life is too hard to add anything to it. I gotta flip my mind around. And so what I do instead, I celebrate other people's wins, and I'm like, awesome job, man. Awesome job. And I use that to inspire myself, and I try to say, this is what's possible. I might be struggling, and this guy might be 10 times better than me. Or, one of the other traps that you can get into is say, well, I'm better than him. Why's he got that? I'm smarter than him. Why's he got that? I'm better looking than him. Why's he got that? Well, you know what? I don't know I have no clue what that dude went through. None. And maybe it is true that you're better than him and you deserve it and he doesn't. Maybe. But thinking like that's not going to help you anyways. So you might as well celebrate their success and celebrate their win. And so that's what I do. I'm like, great job. And I'll even call them out on the show, great job. And you know what? I have students that pass me up, right? That they do better than me. They're like, good. When the student is better than me, all I can say is that means I'm a good teacher, right? So I am hoping that someday when we do these challenges, and someday soon, you guys are going to be better than me. Awesome. Congratulations. I want to celebrate your success, and I'll call you out. I'll put you on the show, and I'll say, look, this is what you did, and I'm all for it. But don't get yourself in the comparison trap, because that hurts me. That's hurt me a lot, and it brings discouragement. So anyways, one other thing that I want to talk about, let's see where we're at on this. I'm going to be trading now using the 1 hour, 15, 5 minute, and we're going to find the best entries and time them to make our goal. So I could try to, level this up and nail it in 1 trade or 2 trades and go big, okay? The thing is, the market would have to be perfect for that, right? The market would have to launch, because I would need a decent move to do that, unless I just risked everything on 1 trade and like, oh, boom, I'm going to risk 10,000 and go for 10 pips, right? That is not really a smart way to do this. All right. So the best way that we pull this off is that we, at least I believe, the best way to pull this off is to use it in small trades and then slowly increase my size as we go. And using, man, I'm going to post that comment. That's the job of a mentor and coach, to see that his students excel and succeed him. Same as fathers. Their job is to see their kids go further than them. Man, I love that. Robin, that is the quote of the day, man. I actually totally agree with you. And if I don't agree, I still like to hear your feedback. But if I don't agree, that's okay. But I agree with this. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I slug and work, is because I look at myself as a point man and a trailblazer, right? Like I'm the guy leading through the jungle, right? And I want to break through. And that's just like one of my giftings, right? So we got to use the giftings we have. But I don't want to just lead the way, though. I want to take you with me. I want to take people with me. I want to be like, okay, I'm fighting a battle, but you know what? I want to get you into the battle because it's worth fighting, right? The battle's worth fighting. So, but I want my ceiling. I want to push, and that's my ceiling. But then I want my children, that to be where they're just getting started. All of the accomplishments, that's the foundation, that's the base. And I want that to be with my students too. I want all of the struggles that I've had, I want that to be your floor. I want you guys to just to run with it. All right, enough of that. I get carried away. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do you 1 hour, 15, 5, and 1. And I'm going to analyze the current conditions. I'm going to analyze the current conditions, because I think that with what's happening in the market is going to make a big determinant on how I tackle this on that specific day. And so the day that I've outlined for this is Tuesday. Let me pull up the calendar. Tuesday the 9th. Okay, we're going to go Tuesday the 9th. So mark that on your calendar, guys. Tuesday the 9th is the day that I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it Monday, because I had to move some stuff around on my schedule so that I had time to really focus. And also, I think Tuesday is a better market day than Monday. Not always, but just in general. So I'm going to go for that. Sir Flexi's trying to get some good comments up there too. Good job. You guys coming up with the good quotes. This is going to be the quote channel. By the time we're done at the end of the session, we're going to have so many quotes. We'll have a whole book of them. And my good friend Tim, and I know a lot of you guys like Tim a lot too. Tim has maxims, and he's got a book of maxims. And I actually have been writing them down and putting them in a little book, because his maxims are really good. He has little stories about all of them. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So mark that down on your calendar. Let me actually write it down, and I'm going to put it up here for a little bit so you guys can see this. 9 a.m. Tuesday. Tuesday the 9th. Okay. All right. So I'm putting it on here. 9 a.m. Tuesday the 9th is the $10,000 Forex challenge. So mark it on your calendar. Be there or be square. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay. So let's keep moving on. Keep moving on, guys. So I'm making this challenging, and because risking $1,000 a trade is not a lot, I'm making this challenging. I had already talked about that. That's just revisiting stuff. It means I'm going to have to take a lot of trades unless the market is really moving, and then we can hit some big ones. If we hit like a $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 trade, we could do that. But for the most part, I'm planning on having to slug it out on 1 minute, 5 minute charts, because a lot of times if the market's in a consolidation period, you're going to have to really drill down. But one of the things I'll talk about this when we get to the strategy, because I'm going to talk about that. But here's the tools that I'm going to be using. I'm using the Epic Trade Manager tool. I'm going to be using the simple moving average, the 50 and the 200, and I'm going to use the Savvy MACD custom MT4 indicator. Okay. And so these are tools that I've created. That's pretty much all I'm going to use. I'm just going to use those three things. I'm going to take more trades as the session continues, and I'm also going to increase and decrease trade size as the session progresses. One of the key factors of this is going to be to cut losers quickly, because I don't want to, for number one is I don't want to lose my capital, and I don't want to lose any gains. Yes, EST, Joe, EST. Eastern time. So we'll get that posted as soon as we can, and then you guys will be able to subscribe to it and get notified. But just make sure my side. All right, here we go. So let's keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Oh, money management. Money management is critical. So I'm going to risk $1,000 on the first trade, and I use my tool for that, right? I use the tool for the money management, and then I'm going to be tightening the stop loss as I start getting into profit. So if I'm up a little bit on the trade, I'm going to start locking it in because I don't want to give anything away. I'll take more trades as the session continues. I already talked about that. And I'm going to risk 1,000 on the next trade as well. And so the first trade, I'm only going to take one trade at a time. But the second trade, I may take 2 trades, or then I might get to the point where I'm taking 3 trades. And that's really where the money will come from, is if we can get like 2 or 3 trades hitting at the same time. If we do just one trade at a time, that is really going to slow us down. But if I can do 2 or 3, but it's going to take a lot of focus. So I'm going to be very focused. I'm going to be not talking. I might not even talk a lot, but I will be talking, trying to educate and share what I'm doing. But I want you guys to be able to see exactly what it is that I'm doing. And it's all going to be live. So really excited about that. And it's going to be quite an interesting and exciting experience, I believe, as well as educational and fun. That's going to be part of it. Okay. So here's a basic dynamic of what it's going to look like. Okay. So I will then draw the levels just like I always did. So here's the levels. I will then be looking at the MACD. I'll be waiting for a crossover and for a level to break. So something like this, a nice big strike, the crossover happening. I mean, this is basically a textbook move right here. And then we got the move, and then this broke out. And right here it said 87 pips and 35. So in this particular trade, this is what would be the dream trade. All right. So this trade right here would be the absolute best possible thing that could happen to us. And for your sakes, it might not be the best thing to happen. Like if we get this and I go, because this might actually, if I risk 1,000 and I get 87 pips, I mean, I might hit 5 or who knows how much on that first trade. That first trade could actually generate the full amount And that would be awesome for me, but for you guys, you wouldn't get to see me working. But if I do that, if I go and get a great move like this and we hit it on the very first trade, well, then I am going to, I'll just hold off a little bit. I'll wait and I will keep trading. I'll just keep trading. We'll say we hit the challenge and then I'll keep trading, even if we do that. So, but this is the setup. It's really simple. Step one, you remember the first steps from yesterday was simplify, make it simple, keep things simple, and then know your why was the other thing. We talked about that, knowing your why. Well, my why today is the $10,000 challenge. That's my why. Keeping it simple, I'm going to do the levels, the MACD, and the level breaks using moving averages to test my support and resistance. In this case, the support levels, these resistance levels got crushed, right? And then it went right back up into this next resistance level. And it goes to the point of showing you that the trades love to bounce from level to level. They go from level to level. And so that's why the levels are really, really good. Dave's like, yeah, you know what? When you're hot, right? When you're on a roll, you're on a roll, and you got to do it. So I'm going to be trying to really get into the zone and make that happen. And so, Joe, you're hyped, and being hyped is good, but remember, emotions can be our enemy. So I'm going to go into this like super calm. If I make it, I'm going to celebrate big time. If I don't, I might feel sad. But yeah, it happens, I talked yesterday how I played tennis. So I've got this competitive streak in me. And when I was in high school, I was I was a basketball player too, and we made the state tournament. And it was the most devastating experience I ever had. Maybe not my life, but in my young life, when I was 17. We were like ranked number 3 in the state, and I'm from the state of Oregon. We were ranked number 3 in the state, and we had just had an incredible run. And we played this team at home for our last home game of the year, and we beat them by like 30 or 40 points, right? I mean, it was just an embarrassment. Like we just rocked their world and just totally annihilated them, right? And so we're like 3rd in the state. These guys aren't even really ranked, but they were still a good team. And so then we went into the tournament, right? We went into the tournament, and we played the exact same team again, like 2 weeks later, for the state tournament. And so let's just say we were pretty confident, right? We were pretty confident going in, and we ended up losing that game. And in the first round of the tournament, and I was pretty devastated. It was my last year of high school, and the level of discouragement from that game ran pretty deep. So it's not gonna, if I fail, it's not gonna feel as bad as that, because that was pretty rough. But I'll still, we'll still go through some emotions here. But we want to try to get those emotions under control. But this is the basics of the strategy. If we go and look at this is my Epic tool. I know some of you guys have that too. That tool is what's going to help me manage my trades. Right here, it says money to risk. On this particular trade, it was 300, but we're going to be risking 1,000 for this challenge. And so that's pretty much all that we have to talk about with this challenge. It's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So if you guys are excited about that, I'd love it if you go ahead and get a like on it and press that like button, because we only got 20 likes right now. I want to get it up there. Now, one of the things that I want you guys to do also is to go back over that video that I shared, and so you really get a rundown of the strategy as well. The strategy is going to be, going to help you guys quite a bit if you get it, because you're going to want to follow along and get a good handle on it. And so just another thing too is that we do have the MACD strategy guide. It's available now. So if you want to grab that, the link is in the chat for that as well. Okay, now let's keep moving along. I think that was the last slide. Oh, here's some facts. I put these facts in here because I wanted to let everybody know. I wanted to let everybody know that. Oh, let me move the banner. Let me move that banner, guys. I'm watching the chat better. Somebody said something here. Well, let me go back. Okay, you guys actually can't see the MACD. Why didn't someone tell me? You guys got to tell me these things. I wanted you guys to see the challenge. So this is the MACD, the crossover. It's right here. I apologize for blocking that out. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it blocks it out. And it blocks out my pretty face too. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's go. Let's keep moving along. You guys know when the challenge is, so that's awesome. All right. So this is the facts. Now we're back to the facts. This is going to be a challenge. I mentioned it earlier. So I don't call it a challenge just to make it sound like a challenge. Like everyone's doing challenges now, but I did a couple of them and they're all lame. Like, you know, I realize, here's the thing. I realize that most of the people that are doing stuff like this in the marketing world, their audience isn't too smart. But I have a different type of audience. We're educated. We're traders. I still have to try to make it simple, right? I'm trying to make it simple, but I know that you guys can do a little more than what the average person can do. But for this, I'm really raising the bar. So one is, due to limited time, I have to take profit quickly. So I can't just buy it. Like, I don't mind buying a euro trade and holding it for 2 weeks and, you know, making a decent amount on it, you know, like I did on FUBO, right? I'm holding FUBO. I'm holding it for 3 weeks and it's up a lot. It's up 15,000 or something like that, right? It's up a lot. Let me just check real quick. So yeah, I don't mind doing that, but I can't do that today because I'm limited on time. However, so that's going to be a big factor. If you don't have time, it can cause bad judgment. It can cause a lot of things. I recommend that you guys I recommend that you guys will make your decisions wisely and take some time planning ahead. Take some time planning ahead. That's what I'm going to do. So again, due to margin requirements, I'm not going to be open up many trades at a time because I'm increasing my size a little bit to try to do this. The margin is going to be a factor. Normally, margin's not a factor. Normally, margin doesn't matter because you're just trading smaller stuff, right? But when I'm doing this, I might only be able to open one trade initially. And on the second trade, probably two. So that's going to be a factor. And again, also, due to the time limits, I'm going to have to use 1 minute charts, which will make it more difficult. Now, I'll go back to that last entry, and on the MACD, you'll see it. The thing about it is that this particular entry right here is a 15-minute. However, I'm going to use the hour, the 15, the 1, and might really try to tighten it down to the 1, depending on how the market's moving. It all depends on what kind of market movement we're getting. And so even the move like this, the second move, where the market goes down a little bit slower, like this is probably, you know, these candles are 15 minutes. So we know that there's 4 candles in an hour. So that's an hour. Okay. And so then this is an hour. So that's 2 hours. And so then this is another hour. So this is about 3 hours. So I probably get about 3 hours of trading. So this is about as much of a move as I can get. And so that means I'm going to have to increase the frequency of my trades. And so the challenge is I'm going to have to use the 1 minute charts, and I'm going to have to increase the frequency of the trade. So it's going to take more focus, more energy, more effort, and it's going to be a challenge. A challenge is a challenge is a challenge. This is going to be a challenge. So I'm going to be excited, and I want to thank everybody for who's coming along with me on this challenge. It's going to be fun. It's for educational purposes only. We're going to have a good time. All right. So that is the strategy. Before I move on to the next session, is there any other questions about the strategy? Robin is excited. Awesome, Robin. Thank you. Okay. Well, since there's no questions, let's go ahead and go over some charts. Chart time. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that up, and you guys can see yesterday this happened on the euro, and I want to show you, and you can see I did take a trade right here. I pretty much nailed it. It was pretty awesome. But right here is what we're looking at here. It hit this level, and what happened? This is why levels are important, people. It just takes patience to wait to get to it. It went right to this level, and then boom. And if we time it down to a 15-minute, it broke this level, right? It hit the level, and then it went up. We had a near cross. It was close, but then we had a cross. We had a break of the moving average, and what else did we have? We had the trend line break. We had the trend line break, but then it broke and it retested. A lot of times it will do that. It will break, retest the bottom of the trend line, and then away we go. And so now let's look at it on hourly time frame. Hourly is showing that the MACD is just about to cross over. We just crossed over. We have another move right here, another trend line break. So we got a double trend line break. So if this doesn't take, we have a level right here. Okay, if this doesn't take, if it doesn't get up to this level, it might come back down, bounce, and then go, right? And that is what I'm looking at. So let's take a look at this on the daily. Still watching this now. If that was short-term time frame, if we're looking at a daily, we want to look at it a little differently. We want to have our level in here, and we want to say, okay, we have this level here, and we want to watch this MACD because it's still now downward power. This MACD hasn't turned yet, but the last time you see had the downward power, it moved up. So this is an uptrend, and we got a very nice pullback on it. It's been a solid pullback, a 400 pip pullback, which is perfect. And so now we're looking for this thing to go and break and get right back up. So what I would look at for the entry would probably be a break right here. If we break above this, that would probably be mine, along with this MACD turning. So this is some very good training right now for daily trades. And so Robin is saying that the dollar's weak. Yes, but you cannot forget about the dollar trend. The dollar trend is weak. Well, you're right, it's weak, but what I mean to say is it's been strong the last month, right? It's been strong since January 6th. I got myself backwards. Yeah, but today it's weak, but the last month it's been strong. So we need that monthly current to change directions. We need the ship to turn. And this is a big boat. You know, this is the biggest market in the world. And so, well, it used to be. I don't know if it is anymore. I don't know if Bitcoin passed them or not. Maybe somebody can tell me. But this is a big market. still. And so it takes some time for this thing to turn. And so I would wait for this MACD to start to cross and wait for that. And then once that happens, we're going to have a really nice high probability setup. Let's look at the pound dollar. Pound dollar, we had that pin bar yesterday. And we still have this level to go. But I had made a discussion and tell me if you guys remember what I was talking about, please let me know. Please let me know when I was talking about this pound and I said that it could come back here and then take off. Does anybody remember me talking about that at all? If you do, please say you were here and you remember. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on this one. We got this level. We have this level. This one has been just really steady on the MACD, so I'm not really going to be afraid to take this. And if it breaks out, it breaks out. I would go for it. It might, if it fails here, it could really see some more downward move. But this was such a strong bullish move, I think, and even right now it's really bullish. I think we could see some more momentum moving up. All right, so Robin and Ski do remember that. Okay, good. So hopefully that was helpful. All right, so I'm going to post a comment here from Leonard. Leonard said it's almost like two different strategy, the daily and then the hour 15-minute, depending on your strategy style, swing, position, day, or intra. It actually is, because you get a totally different picture. You get a totally and completely different picture. And what I believe, Leonard, is the absolute best is when you can get an hourly trade that lines up with the daily, like what we have right here, right? So when we have this breaking this channel, we got this trend line break on an hourly, we got this MACD cross on an hourly, and on the daily, we have a strong uptrend. To me, that is the most important. That's as good as it can get right there. So would I take this? Yes, I would take it, even before it gets here, because even if it doesn't get, even if it stalls out, that's still a decent trade, right? But if it stalls out, let me do one of the things I like to do. Let's say we get up here, okay, we stall out, and then we bust up, right? And then we stall out here, and then we bust up right here. There we go. Look, that is a possibility of some market movement, okay? That is a definite possibility that the market could do this. I mean, look at what the market does. Let's just look at it. It goes like this. It goes up. It goes down. Like these patterns, we've got to get these through our head. And then we just began to see them. You know, lay down, when you're laying down to sleep, close your eyes, and then just visualize those patterns. Take pictures in your mind and visualize those market patterns. You want to get those into your brain as much as possible. Thank you. All right. And Leonard, I appreciate that. Leonard Williams Jr., thank you. Thank you for supporting us. It means so much to me. It really does. Okay, so let's go and look at the Australian, New Zealand, because I think my good friend Robin, and I don't really know Robin, so to say he's a good friend is a little exaggeration, but he's a supporter and he's a friend for sure. Let's go to New Zealand, Odd New Zealand. And I think I'm supposed to say the Aussie New Zealand, but I always forget. Okay, so the Aussie New Zealand is currently bouncing right now. We had a pretty steep drop, and we bounced on it. And price is now, this is a level, and it was already a level right here before. And I can't remember, Robin, since I cleaned out my charts, I can't remember if I said this was a level before or not. I think I might have, but it respected the level pretty good. Oh, the banner, man. Thank you, Pierre. Pierre gets a star for 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 doing the for telling me about that. All right. So we have a level right now. There's not much of a trend on this. It's just a sideways. And so if we catch a break, let's go to an hourly. If we catch a break, right now we broke this. So that is an indication that we could be trying to go back up. But let's watch this MACD. Watch for this to turn right here. Okay, watch the MACD to turn. And then if it does turn, we might want to consider going in on some of these breakouts. It did break this level, but it's hitting some resistance right here. There's some resistance here. So right now, I would not be taking this right away. I would wait and give this some time. It is pulling back off of this. So this might be, see this bounce off this, this might continue down to the 50, down a little bit lower. Might give this 1 hour some time to go down and then see after it goes to the negative, see if it comes back up. And when it starts coming back up, you want to go and, oh, is this going to break a level? Is this, so here's what, let's do the picture thing. So let's say that this comes down like this, okay? And then it bumps up into this moving average. And then the MACD starts to go negative as it starts to drop. And then it pops back up above this. Okay, so we see this happening. And now we wait for the MACD to go back into the positive. And so if we see the MACD drop, we see this level go down, we see it to break back up. If we see all those things happen, then that would be a setup. And so that's kind of how I like to forecast the market. I like to predict what is happening, but I always use the disclaimer there. I can't predict what's happening. I have no clue, but I like to try. And if the patterns begin to form the way that I believe that they're supposed to happen, then that is an indication where I'm just following the market and I let the market guide me and tell me what to do. So remember, one of the reasons why these levels are so important is because we talk about the institutional traders, which is bankers and hedge funds and all of the big time non-retail traders. Those are the guys that look at daily charts, and those are the guys that are looking at levels, and they also have inside information that we don't have. They can see all of the orders, okay? But we don't need to see them because we know where those orders are, because we know how the markets work. We know that at a level, there's a bunch of buy orders and there's a bunch of sell orders. There's tons of orders, okay? And so let me give you a demonstration of what that actually will look like here. And I haven't even gotten into the stock stuff yet, so just give me a minute and I'll get into it. But we're gonna draw, these are gonna be what we call order pools, okay? These are order pools, okay? So this is order pool number one. And this is important stuff. This is order pool number one, and we're going to make this green, a really nice, pretty green. Because why? Because green means buy. Okay, so this is the level, and this isn't a very big level. I'm just using this as an example. So we've got all these buy orders in here. Okay, now we know that some of these could be institutional investors, right? They've got all these orders and they know that all these buys are popping in. Okay, but that still might not be enough. That still might not be enough to move the market. So then underneath those buy orders, okay, underneath those buy orders is sell orders. And does anyone know why the sell orders would be underneath? Go ahead and answer that question if you can. Tell us why you believe those orders would be underneath the buy orders. Why would there be sell orders underneath the buy orders? What do you think? What do you guys think about that? Okay, so the sell orders are below, okay? Now, the reason that the sell orders are below is because of stop losses, absolutely, yes, And yeah, you're right, because of stop losses. But there's another reason. The other reason is because people are shorting on the break of the level, right? So people are like, oh, the level's going to fail, I'm going to short. So we've got a big pool of sell orders below that for stops and also for people that are trying to drive that market lower, okay? And so that's right. And so what a lot of times the big institutions like to do is we saw it happening with GameStop. They control the market, right? They push and push it. And those GameStop guys they were able to move the market. And maybe someday this chat will be so big we'll be able to do that. Just kidding. We're not going to manipulate the market here. There is no market. Look away. There's no market manipulation going on right here. But anyways, what they do is they move the price. And so a lot of times what you'll see is a break of price into these orders. So the market likes to flush all of these buyers out and pick up these stop orders and the other sells. And then what does the market want to do after that? They're like, well, these levels always work. They always work. Well, you got to know what's happening. So then the market comes down even further. All of these buyers are like, forget it. All of these guys are like, okay, yeah, I'm stopped out. The sellers are okay because they're making some money, but then the market reverses on them and it goes up here and all these sellers lost and all the buyers lost. The markets like to, they like to shake everybody out. If this was easy, everybody would do it. The market loves to shake people out. And when they do, it's like shaking a money tree, right? Shaking that money tree and all of those orders come out. And what do? They shake that money tree. They pick up all of these cheap orders. They buy it. And then the money tree just pays them. And then they take the market up into the other direction, right? And so we cannot see the same level of depth of market that they can see, but we do know what's going on, right? We know exactly what's happening here. And again, you want to give yourself a picture of an auction, right? An auction, the market is buyers and sellers. There's lots of emotion. I was at an auction and I bought a car. Has anybody here bought anything at an auction, right? Has anyone ever done that? And I went to this auction. You can get good deals in an auction if you know what you're doing, but you got to know the game, right? Just like with trading, you got to know the game. I personally didn't know it when I went to the auction, and I'm like, man, this car is cheap. This is cheap. And then this guy was like bidding against me, and I won the car. I won the bidding war, but I ended up paying a bunch more than what I wanted to. The good news was it was a charity auction, so I wasn't too worried about it, but it still let that competitive juices get in. I thought I got a good deal, and at the end, I could say, well, I got a car. I couldn't say that I got a good deal, but I did get a car out of it, and I could also brag saying that I won the competition, but I don't know if that's really, he was probably just toying with me, so he really won. So anyways, just be watching this and know what could be happening here. This is just an hourly level, so these aren't as big. These pools aren't as big, but with the currency market, they're still pretty big. And so we know what is happening at all times. Okay. So there you have it. That is what I was looking at. And I'll do one more pair here before I go to the stocks, give our stock updates. All right. And Jonathan, I know you're interested in options. So I was actually talking to one of my options mentors yesterday, and he dropped some good nuggets on me. So I'm going to be sharing those very soon. So be ready for that. Okay. Australian dollar. We have this level right here. We got the 200. Man, this thing looks really solid. I mean, honestly, this looks really, really solid right here. The MACD is getting negative. Okay. It's actually just a little bit negative right now. And if you're interested to know if it's positive or negative, you can see that there's this line here, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a number over here that shows what it is. So it's negative 5.8 right now. And so one of the things that I'm going to do when I do the next update is I'm going to add the negative number a little bigger so people can see, if I can get my programmers to do it. But my programmers are some of the best in the business because I like working with good people. So if you guys think that would be a good update to this MACD, let me know by hitting the like button. I want to see where we're at because we only got 33 likes. I want to see if we can get a few more on that. And I just want to know if you guys would think that's a good idea because it's kind of hard to see. And so I'm like, is it negative? Is it negative? Is it positive? But I also sometimes do this. I'll be like, get this thing way up here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's negative. And these red bars just mean it's starting to really drop heavily. And you can see that it did, and it's negative. And so this Australian dollar, I've been wanting to go long on it forever, but I've been patient. And now that we're getting to the negative zone, it might go down, test again. I didn't really draw a good job on this trend line. It might go test again, might go sideways for a couple more days, and then get really negative and then take off. So I think we're getting ready. All right, Leonard is all over the like button. Thank you, Leonard. Good job, man. Good job. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm looking for this to do a double confirmation. The MACD hopefully will get a little bit lower and then pop. If it doesn't, as long as it's in the zero, I'm okay. I'm just now looking for this to break. If we go down to a lower time frame, you can see we're currently right at a resistance point of the 200 period. So this is going to be pretty important. It did break this trend line here. The MACD is crossing on the hourly. And so everything's looking good here. So I would probably look for this to bounce back down before taking off. But, you know, I can't predict the future. It might go right up to this wall and then come down, or there's really three different scenarios. It could come down right now and then bounce. This is scenario number one. Scenario number two is it comes back up here and then bounces and then goes through like that. Okay, and then scenario number three is that it gets this momentum picks up and it just goes straight through everything. Okay, because this is a strong trend, this scenario number three would not surprise me. And the thing is, you just got to be ready. If you have, I'm actually going to write that down and ask my staff to add that to a future update. See if we can do that. All right, guys. So anyhow, just write that down. All right. So here's the thing. You just got to be ready for whatever the market throws at you. If it does option one, where it comes down here and goes, option two, where it comes up here and then down and then goes, or option three, you got to be ready. And the best way to be ready is to just take all the signals whenever they come and manage your risk accordingly. Okay, so what I'm doing now before a trade, I also do when I'm in a trade as well. I'm like, okay, I'm in this trade. So we're going to do another assumption here that I got in right here. And my stop loss is right here. Now that I'm in the trade and I'm up 20 pips, I'm going to be running the same kind of scenario. I'm going to be saying, hey, what's going to happen right here? Am I going to go up? Am I going to go down? What's the different options? What's going to cause me to stop out? And that helps me with my decision-making process while I am trading, right? So that's that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at stock stuff. Let's look at stock stuff. So here we go. So we've got FNKO. I've been trading this one for a while. FNKO has just been slow and steady, but it's currently at 1345 and I am in at 1244. So I'm up pretty nice on this trade, a decent percentage. And then we have that. So that's that. The other trade that I'm in is HEXO. You guys have seen this many times. was building up a position, adding as much as I possibly could down here, and now we're stalling out up here at the high. But again, I like where we're at. I want to see it stall out a little bit and go long. So see how this works? This strategy works in stocks, the same strategy. We go down. We got the MACD going negative. We got an uptrend. MACD going negative. And then what happened? MACD went positive with the big move here, with the big move. Okay. So that is, that's really a really big, important feature. All right. So that's it. That is this trade. So now I'll be waiting, see if it will hold. It might go back a little bit, but each time the shelf gets lower. So I'm expecting this shelf to even be, each time the shelf gets higher, I'm expecting this shelf not to go down as far. This is now a solid uptrend. And I was trading this all the way back here because I knew that this base was building. I was just watching it and I was seeing that it broke these moving averages, and I just kept building the base. Every time it would drop, I would get in, and I'm just going to keep doing that because it's just, it keeps working. It just keeps working. All right. So the other trade we're going to look at is CRM. CRM is outside of the channel. It's outside of the channel, right? And so that's a pretty good thing. This was my option trade right here. And the option trade is doing pretty well. I'm just checking in here. I did my initial entry on this break, and I wasn't sure if it was going to break this level. So now that it's broken this level, we're going to hold this. I think this is a good opportunity right here. This is a pretty good hold. So looking for this to hold right now. And I bought options way out of the money, which is a more risky trade, but it's also higher return. You make a little more money, but the reason why it's a higher, you make a little bit more profit potential, but it's a higher risk because it's more likely to expire worthless. Okay, that's why this is more risk. But right now we had the MACD crossover, we had the breakout right here, and now we're getting some momentum. We're getting some momentum, and I would love for this to keep moving up. And so now the journey's begun because I am prepared to hold this for 6 months. I don't want to hold it for 6 months, but I am prepared because if it starts making big moves and gets back up here, then my option is going to increase in value tremendously. It's going to increase in tremendous. And my goal on this is my goal is a 500% return. That's my goal, 500%. That's what I'm looking at on this one. So 500% is pretty good. I like that a lot. It is important that we can do that because I'm doing the $1 million challenge. That's why. Because I want to get a big winner. Again, it's a little more high risk, but we're trying to do this thing. So I have actually right now, I'm just trying to see where we're at as far as the gain on it. The current gain is about a 50% return as of right now, 50%. So it's moved up pretty nice. Didn't quite 50%. I need to go a long ways. You know, I need to go a long ways. So, but this is a 6-month holding trade, which I might try to, as the challenge goes on, I might do some more short-term stuff in conjunction with the long-term stuff, just so I have more to talk about. Like, think about it for your life, guys. Just think about your life. A lot of times when I'm doing these teachings, I'm saying, what will this look like in your life? And the reason why I do that, I'm not just doing it. Yes, if it gets 500, I'm going to take profit. The reason why I say think about what it'll look like in your life is because it's helping you really grasp what your future reality could be, because you have a big hand in what your future will be. Life is beyond your control, but with that being said, we can still create our own future, and we want to think. We can't create our own future. We don't have the power to do that, but we can heavily influence it by our thoughts and our actions. We cannot 100% control what happens, but we can influence the way that our future ends up by our thoughts and our actions. And so that's why I say that. Think about what this would mean. Think about what your life would look like. Think about what your account would look like. Think about what your chart, like, just begin to be future thinking. And I spend a lot of time thinking about the future, a lot. All right, so now think about this. This is a 6-month trade, and it's very slow, but I'm doing well with it. What if you could trade only once every 6 months and make enough money to live on, or make one trade a year and make enough money to live on? You spend like 2 weeks doing heavy research, studying, writing notes, figuring out what the best possible trade is, but you only got to take 1 or 2 trades a year. That's where it's at, right? Like, could you actually see yourself doing that? I can see myself doing that. Day trading's cool. Like, me sitting here talking to you guys is cool. I love it. But wouldn't it be cool too to make 1 trade a year, or maybe 1 trade every 2 years? And how do I know this is possible? Because I'm learning from some of my mentors that are doing that, right? And so I spend a lot of money investing in education, and you guys get to receive that because I'm passing it along, my experience and my education. So that's the CRM trade. And then the big boy is FUBO. And let's see what the market's at today. The market is actually up a little bit today. So I just saw, it looks like a lot of stocks were down. Like, all the stocks I was looking at were down. FUBO I got in here at $34. $34, and it's currently at 50. So I'm up $15 per share. And so I want to be watching this. So now the question is, what do I do with this? So let's go bring back some of that other training. Let's bring back some of that other training for this particular trade. So we know my goal is to get 50%. So 34 times 2 is 68. So I'm looking to get this to 68. Now, fundamentally, this is a stock that has good growth. So fundamentally, I like this to get here, right? But the question is, would I be willing to give up my profit if it doesn't get there? All right. So what I need to figure out is, what is the potential path for this? Okay. So let's do some calculations. We currently have a level. Where's the level at? The level's right here, right? And it has not broken. It has not broken at all. And so, again, here's the next level. So we're in the middle of this zone. The MACD is still rising. It's still rising. We're actually consolidating right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days in an even tighter range. Okay. An even tighter range is the last 4 days. So this is where we're at, right? And so the question remains, what is going to happen with this stock? What is going to happen? Well, the price could come down in here, and then we're going to watch and see if buyers step in, because it's that same thing that I talked about with those order pools. A lot of people would want to, this has a lot of shorts in it. So they're trying to trigger shorts. And so it came up in the news as one of the highest short stocks. So that means people are trying to push this lower. So with that being said, if this level goes, it's probably going to go here. If it fakes and comes up, it's probably going to hit and retest and then break. And if it does, it's going to come back up here or up to where my target is. Okay. And so I need to decide, am I willing to hold it? Am I willing to hold it if it comes back down and hits this 50 period? Because Jonathan said come back to the mean, which is the average. That's, I don't use that word very often, so it's good to get a little bit new vocabulary. But that's what we're looking at right here. So that's pretty good opportunity here. So am I willing to lose all my profit and come back here and retest? But at the same time, I don't want to get shaken out, because they're going to want to shake out. They're going to want to push. If this thing gets pushed into this, the weaker players are going to get out, and then the stronger players are going to get in. So why would I be getting out when all the strong players are getting in, right? Why would I do that? So I am going to hold. I am going to hold because I believe that it's just going to get some accumulation. It's going to keep moving up. Now, another thing that you can look at is order flow, okay? And this is pretty interesting. You can look and see, so this is the large scale orders in the last 5 days. So you can see on February 1st, there was some powerful buy orders, 8 million orders. Here was some more orders. And then there was some sell orders, and then yesterday was some buy, and then today some heavy selling. However, you can see that there's heavy selling, but it hasn't really impacted the stock that much yet. But overall, there's more buyers than there is sellers here. And so that's something that we want to be looking at as well. And then, so just some really interesting thing. You could, you know what, that's actually a really good strategy. Okay, so I don't want to get out. So Jonathan, man, I'm going to put that back in. This is good. Jonathan said, well, what about selling and getting back in at a discount? And so let's go over the option for that. There is a good opportunity here for getting in at a lower price. Okay, so if it comes down and breaks this pretty hard, I could sell, take my profit, right? Which would be nice at that point. I don't know what it would be, but roughly 10,000 maybe. And then take that, and when it comes back, I could roll that back into the trade. And then when it hits and gets back up, I make my double even shorter. So that's a really good opportunity. The only bad part about that is if I miss it. But if I miss it, not a big deal. I can find another trade. I could either get back in here on a breakout, or I could go find something else. Because while I've been waiting for this, there's been plenty of other stocks that have doubled. And so that's really what we're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and close up for today. We covered everything. Let's go ahead and throw this up there again. The challenge is going to be at Tuesday, so mark your calendar. Thank you guys for everything that you do. What I would like for you to do is, if you enjoyed this training, please go ahead and get that like pushed up there. I want to see more likes. So if you enjoyed this, there's 66 people watching this right now. So if you enjoyed it at all, if there was even one nugget that you liked, please hit that like button and make sure that you subscribe, because I don't want you to miss the notification when we go live, because you might forget. Hit that notification, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you do not forget to participate, or to see what I do and watch me fall on my face, or watch me have a great victory. Just mark it down, right? Just sub to it. And also, Chris was asking about the MACD. So the ultimate MACD guide that I'm selling, we're bonusing it out with the Savvy MACD, and it does include the dashboard. Yes, Chris, it does come with the dashboard. Jonathan, thank you for your encouragement. And Chris, thank you. And Robin, thank you. And Leonard Jr., thank you so much. I appreciate your participation. You guys really keep me motivated. And Ski and everybody that I'm not mentioning, I still am very appreciative of my people that are supporting me. It really means a lot to me, and I am so, I mean, that just truly does. All right, well, thank you so much, and have a great day. Thank you.